what is this? Oh, no. I can't work on this. This is a hybrid.
All right, don't freak out. You've got this. There's a lot of things on this hybrid that you can fix yourself.
Yeah, it's a hybrid, but I don't know how to work on it. It's complicated, it's electrical stuff. What do I do?
Don't worry, at 1aauto.com, we have plenty of parts and videos to get you through.
All right, thank you.
So you have a hybrid and you're worried about working on it? That's smart because there is a high voltage system and you don't want to mess around with that. But there's a lot of things you can fix and we're going to show you what you can do yourself. Let's go over some safety precautions. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, the key fob. You don't want it in the vehicle. You want to keep it outside the vehicle. Put it on the bench or put it on your toolbox because this vehicle could be on and you don't even know it. The engine's not running, but the vehicle's still on. So you don't want to mess something up where the car starts rolling or starts up on you. This Toyota Prius also has a 12-volt battery in the trunk that at time to time you're going to have to disconnect that to do certain jobs. When you do that, you're going to lose radio programming and also the vehicle may run a little rough after everything's hooked back together. Most of the time you just drive it around in a parking lot situation and it's back to normal. In the back here we have the hybrid battery, the high voltage system. You don't want to mess around with this. Don't take any of the bolts out or take the cover off or anything like that. There is an exception. There's a vent right here that to access the rear shocks, you do have to take this vent off. But there's a couple push pins just there. Just don't mess around with the battery. Under the hood, we have the inverter right here, and you have some orange wires going to it. Don't touch any of those orange wires. Don't touch anything inside the inverter. You don't want to take apart any housing, covers, or anything like that. Now there is some instances where you're going to have to remove a bracket and that's okay, but just be careful of that. Be aware that is part of the high voltage system. Don't stab the wire, don't disconnect the wire, or don't cut into the wire because that could cause an issue. But actually physically touching it, that would be okay. And the end of the high voltage system that you don't want to touch is the transmission. Let's leave that to the professionals. There is high electric motors in there and you don't want to touch those. Now let's talk about some of the things you can do. Taking a look at the brakes, they look like they're the same pads and rotors that would be on a non-hybrid vehicle. Even the drums and shoes on the rear are going to be very similar. Now if you've ever heard the term regenerative braking, it has nothing to do with the actual brake pads and rotors. All that is done inside the transmission where the motors are. That actually slows the vehicle down and charges the battery. Replacing the caliper is very similar to other vehicles, although you want to disconnect the 12-volt battery on this vehicle, replace the caliper, and then the bleed procedure is slightly different. You may need a special scan tool, and in most cases there's ways to work around it. Suspension, whether you're doing shocks or struts, even springs, it's going to be the same as on a conventional vehicle. Lower control arms and ball joints, very easy repair, nothing special, and easy to do. Inner and outer tie rods, no sweat, easy peasy. Catalytic converters, even O2 sensors, there's no high voltage going through there. An oil change is just going to be like a regular oil change. Drain the oil out, put a new filter on, put the correct fluid in, and you're good to go. Coils and plugs, nothing crazy, just a regular tune-up. There may be a couple items above it you just have to remove and get out of your way, but otherwise it's pretty simple. Taillights and bulbs, even the cabin filter. Headlight assemblies give your car a fresh new look. Even my friend can replace his own headlight bulb. So all of those parts plus many more you can change yourself, and you can get all of those at 1aauto.com. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our videos.